What is up, everyone? It's Monday again, so you know what that means. Monday metagame update time. Have my newborn, but I'm still trying to get this content out there for you. Don't worry, I've got my some time off work, so I'm not neglecting my child or anything. So don't worry about that. Um, but yeah, let's get into it. We're gonna talk about standard, historic, alchemy, and best of three. And also, we got some pretty interesting MTGA news, so stay tuned for that, and a little update on the next set coming out. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, well, starting off in standard, we have standard best of one and from plat to mythic. Currently, still very much the same as always. The aggro decks just really have just controlled this format for as long as I can remember. We got the mono white humans, we got the Azorius soldiers and Naya humans. Those are kind of like your top decks, and mono red very close behind. All of those very good decks, which will get you to mythic easily. A few other decks doing well still. Toxic, of course, very, very good. And the enchantments deck also very good. You can play a few other decks, but not quite as solid in best of one, like the Esper Legends deck or the Dimir deck. Both of those okay, but not really that great in best of one as compared to best of three. So speaking of best of three, if we take a look at that, actually the top spot right now, and let me just move to the last 7 days. Okay, yeah, that makes more sense. So last 7 days, mono black control, mono white mid range, and Dimir mid range. So aggro making its way back up in best of three, but the mono black and Dimir still very, very powerful right now. Some even claiming Dimir is the best deck right now in the format, which is pretty nice. And you can see there's not a whole lot of data for this week currently, but we can look back at the whole meta. Meta very huge and has shifted a lot, so this isn't quite accurate. But Esper Legends still solid deck. Mono red still pretty solid in best of three. And of course Rakdos Sacrifice and Domain. Okay, though Rakdos did take a big hit after the bans, so that's kind of why that one's dropped down a little bit. So yeah, I would say best of three, your best choices are these three right here: mono black, mono white, or Dimir. Okay, well, if we move on to historic, and yep, we're looking at the right timeline here. So interestingly enough, Dimir ninjas doing very, very well, and almost 64% win rate, very, very solid. Kind of came out of nowhere. The sample size is not huge, but it's not small either. 850 matches. So yeah, I mean, Dimir Ninjas was a thing for a while, but definitely not the best deck. So really interesting to see that some people have really done very, very well with this deck recently. We can even take a look at that a little closer. Golgar Yawgmoth, we looked at that one last week and the last couple weeks. Still very, very solid, doing quite well. Gruul Goblins is another one that's been picking up a lot recently. I think it might have gotten maybe one new card, but not a whole lot has changed there. So kind of interesting that it's picked up. And then Abzan Combo, Wizards, and Dredge. These were kind of the top three in the last week. So they're still very, very good with, a well above average win rate. So any of those are very, very solid decks. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the top for right now. So let's take a look at some of those interesting decks. So Dimir Ninjas playing Ornithopter to get you something quick down that you can ninjutsu out. Kind of all the usual suspects for the ninja cards here. I guess this is the innovation, Orcish Bowmasters. So having the Bowmasters with the 1/1 body that you can ninjutsu out seems to be what they're kind of doing now. And with Lurrus, Lurrus is very strong. So sort of taking the Dimir control deck with Lurrus that I was playing, but making it a ninja version. And yeah, like I said, doing very, very well. So give it a shot. Could be worth it. And they're even running Retrofitter Foundry because it's just a broken card that makes you tokens. So yeah, works with your Ornithopter. So interesting, very interesting. I'm not sure it will stay at the top spot, but it seems to be preying on the meta currently and doing well. So pretty cool. Gruul Goblins. Yeah, I think this one didn't really get anything new. I mean, Goblin Anarchomancer. I think this has been out a while. I know, yeah, it has been out a while. It was like his Anthology 4 or something. So nothing really new here. Maybe a land could have been new. Doesn't really look like it though. So yeah, guess it's just in the right spot for the meta right now to be doing pretty well. So yeah, just a meta pick. But if you like goblins, seems like the meta is a good format again for goblins to do well. So nice, give it a shot. And finally, Alchemy Best of 1. Yeah, not a whole lot of data on this again, and not the most popular format, but we're still kind of in the same spot where Rakdos Sack, Mono Red, and the Mono Black Nazgul decks are doing the best. Of course, there is still like the blue-white control deck and the blue-black control decks, which were doing quite well. If we look a little bit further back in the meta, yeah, see the Dimir control quite good, and the Legends deck also very good. So yeah, you have quite a lot of options in Alchemy right now, and with the nerfed cards, definitely it's going to be a little bit more of an open format, a little bit more fun. So might even be something I would be willing to try again now that the recent nerf to Crucius happened. I think it opens it up quite a bit. Okay, let's take a look at, we don't have any tournaments. Again, the format is waiting for the next set to come out, still kind of installed, so not a lot of people playing standard tournaments. But we do have a few decks I found on Twitter. This is a standard deck, and it's Dimir, and it's the blue-black kind of Shieldred, Fairy Mastermind, tempo-y, mid-range type deck, but they're playing a few new cards in here that I thought were interesting, such as Rona is in here, Chromhost Seed Shark is in here. You got the 5-mana Shieldred. So I really like they're trying a few new things and seeming to do very well with it. So yeah, if you're on the Dimir train right now, in the best of 3 especially, you might try this version of it with some of these innovations to give you a little bit of an edge on the mirror match, or maybe even in other matchups as well. So yeah, give it a shot. Okay, and then another cool decks for standard we got going on here. Golgari Self-Mill Best of 1. We had a lot of Best of 1 mill cards in the format, and looks like, we haven't really tried it for a while, but the old Stick Fingers was quite good. The Lurgoyf is pretty good, so somebody give it a shot, and they were doing quite well with this on the Best of 1 Mythic Ladder, going 7 and 3, so pretty sick. And then they also had this Gruul Best of 1 deck as well, and they also were doing quite well with that. Not a huge sample size, but I just like the innovation, trying new things still in this format, even though it seems somewhat solved. They're still trying out some cool new brews. So props to Steel Grip here, and if you want to spice up your standard a little bit, you can give these decks a shot as well. Alright, so now I want to talk about a little bit of MTGA news. We got a pretty big update in MTG Arena. They announced kind of their schedule for the future, and we got some pretty sick stuff coming out for MTG Arena. Next month is the 5th anniversary, so they're going to have like a celebration event. So hopefully that means like free coins and gems. Probably not. Probably it means like some free, like the card backs or styles or stuff like that, or maybe some sort of like fun event you can buy into and get some free celebration stuff. So I'm sure it won't be super generous, but it could be fun, and we'll see. It's at least something fun to do. And finally they are ending the duplicate protection issue that we've been asking for probably since the game first came out, basically like the first rotation. Things like Duress or Negate, or all these cards which we already have like 40 copies of them. And it's the same exact card, same exact art, and they just keep giving us the same, making us waste our wild cards. Finally, they are putting in duplicate protection for these kinds of things, is what they said. So hopefully it's everything we want, but since they announced it like this, I assume it's probably going to be something like people have been asking for a long time. So pretty cool about that they're finally doing that. I wish they'd done it a lot sooner, but I'll take it. They also mentioned they're going to do some new achievement system in MTG Arena. So we'll have to see a little bit more how that's going to work out soon. But yeah, I think it's pretty cool. Like the weekly earnings and the rewards were fine, but it doesn't give you a whole lot of long-term satisfaction unless you're just grinding the ladder all the time, and even that is not super rewarding in a lot of cases. So hopefully with this new achievement system, it can be a little bit more engaging even for the casual players, I'm hoping, but we'll see. It's cool that they're at least trying some new things. And then finally, they said that they're going to add Khans of Tarkir, the full set, to MTG Arena, which is awesome. I actually never played with Khans of Tarkir, but I know it's a really beloved set. Dragons are always fun and should help with maybe historic or things like that. So really, really cool to see that. They're going to stop for the remastered sets for a little while, which is okay. I was never a huge fan of the remastered sets. I guess it was nice for adding cards to Arena, but other than that, wasn't that interesting. The drafts were never that great, and it doesn't usually shake up a whole lot of stuff, so I'm not going to cry over that one. And then in 2024, they are going to add Pioneers Masters to the MTG Arena, and they're going to try to have pretty much all of Pioneers onto MTG Arena at that point. So that's really sick. All the tournament viable cards, they said, at least. So that will be really cool, and we might finally have a full Pioneer format. They also mentioned that Modern Horizons 3 is going to be draftable on there, I guess, to go into Historic, which is cool. Those cards are usually pretty powerful, so it'll be cool to shake up Historic a little bit. Maybe we'll get some new interesting things there. And then more unified ecosystem with tabletop. Not really sure what that means. Could be a little bit scary, to be honest. But hopefully, this means that they're going to have some sort of like rewards for going to pre-release events that you can use in MTG Arena, or something like that. They mentioned Friday Night Magic Games reward Mastery Pass experience. Experience is not that great, but it's something at least. But yeah, I really hope they're a little bit more generous when you buy the physical cards to get something back on Arena. That would be my hope. And then yeah, I guess they're gonna have some Fallout and Final Fantasy sets and things like that coming to MTG Arena as well, similar to the Lord of the Rings cards that we had, though it might just be cosmetics, so we'll see. So that part I don't care so much about, unless you're a huge Final Fantasy or Fallout fan or something like that, but the rest of it sounds pretty good, and I'm hoping they're going a little bit more generous on the rewards and maybe give you a little bit more achievements for playing a lot with the new achievement system. That is my hope. We'll have to see. If they ruin it and we all complain, they might revert something, so keep that in mind. But yeah, I think it could be cool, and looking forward to see what they do. They also mentioned that there's an MTG Ravnica remastered set that is coming out in paper, and they're going to put some of the cards to MTG Arena, but not the whole set. So I think we have some already, so maybe they're just going to add the other really strong ones from the set, and that's it. We'll have to see on that one. That one's not really confirmed yet. Okay, Well, finally, the final news is about the Wilds of Eldraine. I think last week I said it a little bit wrong. I said the early access on MTG Arena was going to be August 15th. I think the website I looked at was just wrong. It looks like the story and the previews are coming out August 15th, apparently, though I know we already have some previews now. I guess we have like the first look. Yeah, the first look here, July 28th. So we got the first look, but the official preview season starts August 15th, and the story starts around that time as well. And then looks like the early access event will be end of August, digital launch September 5th, pre-release events probably, usually it's well, I actually don't know, but recently they've been doing it before the digital event by a couple days. So that might be like 3 and 4, September 3rd through 4th, something like that. Or maybe 1st through 4th, I don't know. And then the digital release is on the 5th. That would be my guess. And of course, the tabletop launch is on the 8th. So yeah, that's kind of it for the MTGA news, and I'm pretty looking forward to it. The Wilds of Eldraine set has looked really sweet so far, so I have high hopes for that. It's got to be powerful enough to shake up standard. Otherwise, we better hope those bans are pretty solid, because as you can see, it's gotten quite stale here. And even still in best of 3 format, black and white are both very, very powerful still. So unless they're planning to ban like Wedding Announcement, Shieldred, maybe Wandering Emperor, maybe Farewell, I don't know. I think we're going to see not a whole lot changing in standard, but I could be wrong, and we'll have to see. Anyway, that's going to be it for this meta update. Go out there, have some fun. Until next time, see ya.